It's the Morning Brew with Elle Dawson and Gillian Robertson. Brought to you by Fight.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. Yours truly, Elle Dawson, and to my, I never know what it looks like on your screen, to my right, Gillian the Savage Robertson. What's up, G? How are you?
What is up? It's good to have you back. The leader.
I know.
The leader of the show. I'm like, last week we had no direction in this ship.
My bad. No, and honestly, let's be real. Is there ever really direction on the Sunday morning brew? I feel like we go crazy here on Sundays about UFC 320. But Rio was awesome. I'm so glad I get to be here today to talk about these fights. Like, let's just go in off the top and give UFC Rio a letter grade, A through F.
I'll say probably like a B plus. Maybe like I think it's I would say B plus for me.
I'm with you.
It was a good fight card all around. Entertaining all around. Not the best I've ever seen, but it was a good fight.
It was, and I think for like, if we're comparing this as like a fight night to perhaps the next pay-per-view coming up, like this card really does deliver as a non-numbered card, in my opinion. I feel like they did a really great job here in Rio. I had a really cool picture that I was going to throw up from, if you guys haven't seen it, it's on Charles Oliveira's Instagram. I was going to throw it up, but I was running behind today, so it didn't happen. But yeah, go check it out. Like, there's just this insane photo of Charles Oliveira walking out and everybody's hands from the crowd just like reaching towards him. And he's the new king of Rio. Obviously, like, amazing props to Jose Aldo for an incredible career. He was one of my top featherweights of all time. Like, if I have a featherweight Mount Rushmore, Jose Aldo has to be on it. What a legend. It was really cool to get to see him, have a more official send-off, I think, in Rio for the King of Rio. That being said, I think he's passing the torch to Charles Oliveira here. Alex Pereira, huge star, but there's just something about...
Oh, yeah. Even in America, I feel like everybody loves Charles Oliveira. That was the story of the fight. Every time I asked somebody about it last week, I'm like, who do you think is going to win? They're like, I want Charles Oliveira to win because I really like him, but I think Gamrot is. I'm like, everybody's just such... I don't understand how him and Bahia, I'm like, are just so likable, even though you don't know a word they're saying. I'm like, neither one of them have learned English, but everybody just absolutely adores them for who they are.
Very, like, Charles Oliveira is just a wholesome guy. Like, and obviously, I hate to see a teammate lose. Gamrot was looking really good on the feet in round 2. So I would have loved to see that fight play out longer. Hate to see Gamrot lose, but like, you could see it on Gamrot's face too. He has a lot of love and respect for Charles Oliveira. I feel like he really is just a wholesome guy. Seeing him come into the arena with his family, his kiddos, I will say that baby's gonna be deaf. Like, at least give that poor baby some headphones. That is the loudest crowd I've ever heard.
He was giving him his Simba moment in the middle of the cage.
No, very, very wholesome guy. I agree, and I think that's why. I'm sorry, SG. I don't know how to fix it for you. It's not lagging on your end, is it, G?
No, it seems good to me so far.
We're not frozen here. Everybody else, let me know in the comments. I can't start it over really, but maybe hit refresh.
Have you tried turning it off and turning it on again?
But yeah, you can't really be upset about Charles Oliveira winning like this in Brazil. Even seeing my friend and teammate lose, I feel like I still feel I might be a little off base here, might be a little biased. I still feel like with a full camp, Gamrot gives Charles a very tough fight. I think that you need time to prepare for that, just that style, that the back defense. I still feel pretty confident that I don't think Charles can submit Gamrot off his back. But man, he put him in enough really tough positions that it made Gamrot second guess, do I really want to take this guy down again? The takedown might have been easy, but control and doing damage on the ground was not.
Oh no, but Oliveira is just also, I don't know, just so good at getting to those positions, so good at getting to the back in the first and in the second. I'm like, just beautiful transitions, beautiful work on the ground, but Gamrot with the both of them with the scrambles in the first. The first round was just like a jiu-jitsu person's like dream, you know, to see back and forth the scramble. It was just a gorgeous matchup until like obviously Oliveira just had that little bit of a little bit of the edge there. Maybe it is just to do with the time of preparation. You know, Oliveira has had a long camp where, like you said, Gamrot took the short notice. It is the first time Gamrot's ever been finished in 30 fights. So I'm like, I hate that for him that it happened on a short notice fight.
No, me too. And I think we see 5 rounds from this fight, no matter who wins, with a full camp for Gamrot. But it's also, we had Oliveira there, and you see this with other guys that are built similarly and have like great grappling. I think Grant and Moicano are other great examples of this. The way their build is too is just so conducive to fantastic back control. And it's beautiful to watch and appreciate the way they're guys like that and Oliveira are able to throw hooks in, get the body triangle, and just control and put people in so much danger there and be so dominant in those positions. You definitely see some really, we even saw it on the card, the rest of the card, some guys who had really great wrestling, really great like riding, but just don't have that ability to throw in body triangle like that and control.
Yeah, or just the finishing ability even. I feel like Oliveira's finish, like he's always going for the finish, but it's also his finishing mechanics are just so solid as well.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it's funny, like the fight went so opposite of what I thought it would. I thought Gamrot maybe would be in a little more danger on the feet because Charles is sharp on the feet. And what makes Charles Oliveira's striking so dangerous is he's never afraid of getting taken down because he knows he has danger there too. But I feel like I thought he would put Gamrot in a little more danger on the feet, and Gamrot would, which the shot looked beautiful. I thought Gamrot would control him a lot more on the ground, pass the guard, beat him up. While it kind of flip-flopped, Gamrot kind of struggled to pass the guard and control him on the ground, but honestly looked pretty solid on the feet for that first like half of round 2.
Yeah, I think going into the matchup, I kind of expected Oliveira to just have a little bit more of what we saw in the fight of having like the jiu-jitsu edge. I expected Gamrot to be able to out-wrestle him, like even almost to the point where it's like Oliveira would give up the takedown even, you know? I expected Gamrot to be able to like out-scramble, out-wrestle him, out-control, but I assumed that Oliveira would have more of an offensive game from the bottom, would be more well-equipped in like the jiu-jitsu areas.
Right. No, it makes sense. And I really was... Because typically I think people like to try to use armbar triangle to get up and create space. And I don't think that, especially in a division as deep as lightweight, I just don't think that works at the super high level very well. However, you don't see a whole lot of people just immediately, I'm going to attack omoplata. I'm going to attack omoplata. And it honestly is very smart because it's very, like, Gamrot wasn't ever really in a good position to do damage. Because his arm is tied up. So even though the sub isn't tight, he's kind of stalled there on top where he can't land any big strikes. It's obviously a lot safer than trying to attack a leg or something like that from bottom. But I feel like it was a more unusual approach than we normally see.
Oh yeah, omoplatas are my favorite bluff. I go to omoplatas all day long. But just to either get a sweep, maybe land, like sometimes if they turn in, you can kind of get like a clamp guard, land elbows from there. Sometimes they give you the sweep. They just roll themselves a lot of times is like a natural instinct for a lot of people. So I feel like or you can even take the back too if they're able to escape their arm. So I'm like, there's so many options from there while like the omoplata isn't necessarily the strongest technique. I feel like it's a great setup for a bunch of different things.
Yeah, no, he used it beautifully. He really did. And then you saw him, Gamrot did have to roll at one point. It was more, Gamrot like stepped over and it almost looked like he was safe. And then Charles just had such a good grip, I think, was just able to keep sweeping and kind of rolling him over there. But yeah, it really was a beautiful performance. I wish we would have got to see 5 rounds of that, to be honest with you. I think it would have been phenomenal. I feel like we have given Charles his flowers. Did you have any other points on this fight? Because I definitely want to get through the whole card if we have time.
No, we're good to move to the co-main now.
Okay, cool. So I was particularly excited for this fight, to be honest. It left me a little wanting, but I also kind of understand it. I didn't realize how tall and long Montel Jackson was. Like, he's a 35er. He's as tall as my lightweight husband. Has an 8-inch reach advantage over Davison Figueiredo, who I don't think is he's not like a super small 35er by any means. Like, he's not super short. Just that you could really see Figueiredo respecting Jackson's power, maybe even a little too much, but you definitely could see when Jackson would land those jabs, there was a really, they're very snappy. And you saw Figueiredo's head get snapped back, and it was like, oh, like, if he gets a really nicely placed 2, like, he can put you out.
And on the opposite side, though, I think that, Jackson also respected Figueiredo's ground game. Well, which he should have. He almost got himself caught a couple times in deep submissions. But I'm like, I think that he was too scared to really open up during the whole fight and really, let go on the strikes because he didn't want to get taken down. So it was like they were both – I felt like a lot was happening, but nothing was happening. There was a lot of movement, but nothing really happened during the whole fight. And, there was some exchanges, some scrambles, but there wasn't, a whole lot that happened.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like 5'4", okay, maybe it's a little bit short. He's not super, I was like, he's not I guess that's about Merab. I was going to say, he's not as short as Merab, but he kind of is about as short as Merab.
My last fight card, Figueiredo was the main event as well as when he fought Sandhagen. And he was in the same locker rooms as me a lot. And I do think he is a smaller bantamweight. He kind of is one of those guys who's just in between that flyweight bantamweight. He's not really probably is big for a flyweight, but probably is tiny for a bantamweight.
I mean, he definitely doesn't struggle with his his style. I feel like a lot of times really good grapplers, if they go up in weight, they sometimes struggle just because they're no longer the bigger guy. But his grappling has looked really good at 35 as well. And man, the way he does, I know it wasn't the most exciting fight, but there were some beautiful takedowns from Figueiredo. The way he does his inside leg trip, you see the years of training with Henry Cejudo there.
I'm he loves that trip. The first thing he did, he went for it and then went for it again. It was second time's the charm. He was able to get it, but absolutely.
Well, he had it. Yeah, he had it the first time. The cage saved Montel Jackson.
But yeah, he absolutely loves that inside trip. Always is attacking once he goes on the ground. I thought it was pretty funny whenever he was walking out, when they give you the little stats on the side. One of his stats was he has the 7th most submission attempts in the UFC, which I'm during that fight, you can see, he goes for submissions all the time. He wasn't able to secure any of them, but he's just constantly attacking when he's on the ground.
Well, and I think that's so important for good grapplers, especially if you run into somebody that you can't control. Because Montel Jackson is an athlete. That man is just so explosive. And you saw it. I think when you run into somebody like that and you can't really secure them on the ground, you better be showing the judges that you can finish the fight. And I think that's what edged him out here, because it was a very close fight. I did have Figueiredo winning. Personally, I had all 3 rounds scored for him. We talked about it last night. I could see giving the final round to Jackson as well. I wouldn't be upset about that. I can't see giving the fight to Jackson personally, but like you said, not a ton happened. So it's a difficult fight to score, I will say.
Oh yeah, and that it being a difficult fight to score and it being in Brazil against Davison Figueiredo, it's you can't everybody hates when they say you can't leave it up to the judges, but you can't. When you're in somebody's hometown, it's just it's naturally how it is, whether the judges are biased, whether the crowd, having people cheering behind the judges makes it sound oh, this guy's doing better. Sometimes there's different things that influence the judges' scorecards. So I'm like, I don't know. It definitely. Oh, excuse me.
The biased refs.
The very questionable refs sometimes. We're going to talk about that next fight. But yeah, you never really know what you're going to get when you're in somebody's home country. So you really have to go out there and either really dominate or get the finish.
Agreed. A lot of times we see that on these overseas cards. Is it fair? No. Is it how the sport works? Yes. You got to be ready for it. If you're in a position, especially if you're in a position, I think we often see guys who are getting their last shot in the UFC. We see them as the out of towner on these international cards. So it's like they probably couldn't say no to this fight. Like, this is your shot. You had to do what the UFC asked of you. And that's how the sport works, you know. I do want to ask you what you think this kind of does for this division, because obviously you just saw an amazing fight with Sandhagen and Merab. Who's next? Like, you have Umar fighting Mario. Pretty big gap. Like, it still makes sense, I would say. Umar and like Mario's 8, fighting number 2. But it still kind of makes sense. Like, Chito Vera isn't really in a position to fight for a number 1 contender spot right now. You do have Song Yadong in that mix. Petr Yan, in my opinion, probably is in that, okay, maybe gets the next title shot conversation. Plus, him and Merab I thought was a really fun fight. I wouldn't mind seeing that fight again. But then you also have Umar and Mario, probably a more decisive number 1 contender spot. Where do you put Figueiredo in that mix next? He's at 6 right now.
Yeah. I'm not sure for that one. Figueiredo O'Malley?
Could. My opinion, I don't know what O'Malley's plans are. I feel like he's got plenty of money. I almost want to just like save him for the White House card. Just save him and Sandhagen for the White House card, because that's the fight everybody wants to see anyway. We don't really need to see him and Merab again. That ship has kind of sailed.
Yeah, he needs to win a couple more fights before he gets another title shot. So it's like, that's why I'm like, it could be like, I don't know, because you don't want got me contemplating now.
Do you want him to lose before we get a chance to see him fight Corey on the White House card is the question.
And what? I guess, I don't know, why not put O'Malley versus Figueiredo on the White House card?
Because it should be Sandhagen. It's a way more fun fight. Okay, imagine, I guess this is my thought process. If O'Malley wins, great fight. If Figueiredo wins, how exciting do you think that fight's going to be?
I don't know. I think a Figueiredo fight's exciting regardless. Like, I think he always brings the fight, so I think that's entertaining. I guess maybe Song.
Ooh, yeah.
That's the only option, other one that I can really throw out there.
Somebody said Cejudo, as she said Cejudo. He's at 10 right now. I don't hate it. I feel like I'm not sure what Cejudo's kind of doing now. If he wants to, what's up?
Oh, I was just gonna say, this is another one that maybe because they're both a little bit older, so I'm like, it's a better, like, I don't know, a good matchup would be Ayman Zahabi at 9.
Yeah. Has the big win over
Aldo. Yeah.
Like, yeah, that makes sense. 6 and 9. And it, like, Davison was fighting number 15.
Oh, no.
So he should move up.
Zahabi's is fighting Chito coming up.
Oh, that's right. Never mind. So he's already matched up. Maybe give him winner of that. Because Davison also isn't like, he's not super duper active. He's your normal, like, 2 fights a year, right?
No, he fought fought May. Last time I fought, it was like May 3rd to 7th ish. Early May was the last time he fought. So I'm like, he's more active than me this year.
It's fair. Let's see what his average is per year.
Well, he's at 35 now too. So maybe at 25, he wasn't allowed to be as active, where at 35, he doesn't really have to cut as much too.
True. That's true. I guess I'm thinking of him at flyweight. He was pretty much like 1-2 fights a year. He had 1 year he fought like 4 times somehow. I don't know how he made flyweight that many times that year. That's actually insane. And then he like fought once in 2021. He literally fought 4 times in 2020. He was more active than I thought. Never mind. No, he was more. I was kind of thinking of his last stint at flyweight, but yeah, he just probably was struggling to make the weight at that point because he only fought once 2021, once 2022, but then twice in 23, which I remember that was Moreno and Font. But then he fought 3 times in 24. So no, he's actually been quite busy. So I guess maybe you turn him around a little bit quicker than that.
SG said in the comments he tore his ACL against Corey. I'm like, which I remember he had it was like a heel hook situation. But I'm like, how do you tear your ACL and now you're back? That was May.
I think that was an ACL tear. Maybe unless it was like a really like small partial tear. Like,
yeah.
If you had to have surgery, no, that's like an 8-month recovery before you start training again. I've done it twice.
Because I'm like, I definitely thought the same thing, but I've never thought about that until I'm like, oh wait, how's he back this soon?
Back so quick. Yeah, we'll have to. I don't know. We'll have to look into that. What the official diagnosis was. If anybody knows, throw it in the comments. Okay, we've spent 20 minutes talking about the first 2 fights. I was probably the most excited for this fight. And I don't want to say it didn't deliver, because it did for the first, 2 rounds. And I can't even really blame. Yeah, we'll get to this, Jake. Don't worry. We'll get to this. I can't even really blame Joel Alvarez for kind of stalling a bit at the end of the 3rd round, because that fight should have been stopped several times. Like, what more does that man need to do to get a finish? I can't even fault him for being so exhausted. Like, his arms had to be, I was tired watching Joel Alvarez in the 2nd round.
Yeah, no, I don't know, constant pressure, just ground and pound for 5 minutes straight, essentially. It was, I don't know what more he could have done to try to get the finish there, but in the 3rd, it was definitely a huge letdown to see. Even when he was sitting in that triangle, reverse, whatever it was, from turtle, trying to get a reverse triangle, but not really having it kind of position, at least work from there. Start throwing elbows to the body, do something. The fact that you're just going to sit there and hold. And it's a weird thing for the ref too, because I guess is that a submission position that you're I don't know. You can't really say, okay, we're going to stand them up from here, but it's also what are we just going to let them sit here for 3 minutes and do absolutely nothing? And then also going back to the ref in the 1st round, where I think it was a TKO, but it wasn't a TKO.
You cannot give a fighter rest for a legal strike.
And then he brought the doctor in for what?
To give Luque rest. There's no other reason. That was a definitively a biased decision to help a Brazilian fighter continue the fight. There is no other explanation for that.
I'm there wasn't a cut. There wasn't a reason to bring the doctor in. It was a legal punch. If you bring the doctor in at that point, shouldn't it be considered a TKO?
Yes. The only way it should, if his eyelid was cut and it was dangling off and they were oh, maybe you shouldn't continue. Okay. Like how Nate Diaz's face looked in the Jorge Masvidal fight.
Yeah, that's there was no cut though. Nothing.
There's no cut. He got punched in the eye.
I'm what? Why are we bringing the doctor in to look at his punch?
Yeah. No, that is the second they review the tape and they say, hey, that was a legal strike, the fight continues. That's it.
Yeah. Fight's on.
I can't even blame Luque, because Luque thought he got poked in the eye, and sometimes it feels that way when you get a knuckle. like it feels like you got poked in the eye. So like I'm not blaming him. This is all on the ref. and you could hear like people calling to the ref in Portuguese. So clearly, like I'm pretty sure I don't know. I can't continue the fight.
Yeah. I don't know. It was hard to watch. The whole time I'm sitting like, what is going on here? What is going on? It was a completely legal blow and like you said, sometimes it does to the fighter to defend Vicente. I have been punched in the eye before where you get like the knuckle specifically in your eyeball. Like it's a very precise shot. And when that happens, it feels like somebody fingered, like they poke you. Like sometimes it takes you a second to even realize what just happened. Like last time I had a huge black eye. That's exactly what happened. I went down for a second because I thought I got eye poked. And I was like, oh, wait, no, I need to continue the fight, the sparring round. Because I'm like, I need to keep going. It wasn't an eye poke. It was a punch. Like, I can't get TKO'd right now. So I'm like, I don't know. It was a very confusing, very frustrating to watch. Really happy for Alvarez in the second round. And then, like you said, a little bit of a letdown when it came into the third. But a good fight all around for Alvarez. He was looking clean on the feet, too.
Yeah. I do think this not finishing a very broken Luque does drop Alvarez's stock a smidge. But I like to give guys the benefit of the doubt when they switch to weight class. I said this on Tuesday, and I was like, because Grant was super confident in the finish. And watching Joel Alvarez, you should be super confident in the finish. But in my mind, anytime a guy switches weight classes, you have to wait and see because it's like they're having their debut. They could be a whole different fighter at a new weight class. And that may be the case for Joel Alvarez. His power may not transfer up because some of these welterweights may be just more durable than the lightweights that were much smaller.
I also think Vicente's just a dog, you know?
He's
very tough. He's going to keep on coming at you and he's going to keep on fighting. He's someone who's going to be hard to put away. So it's like there's that aspect into it. We were talking last night. I was shocked to see his age. I was shocked to see that they were a year apart. My thought process going into this matchup, I was like, oh, they're feeding an older Vicente Luque against a younger Joel Alvarez, up and comer, you know? Was absolutely shocked to see that they're a year apart, but I think it's just a lot to do with their fighting styles where Vicente is just such like a brawler, a scrapper. He has very clean technique, but he's just like there for the fight more than anything else.
And also like a dozen more fights than Alvarez as well.
I don't know. In the UFC maybe, but Alvarez is 23-3.
Yeah, no. He has a good record, but Luque is 23, 12-1. So it's like he still has 10 more fights than him.
Yeah.
More, but yeah, I was honestly, their age surprised me. Like when you said that to me last night, I was like, oh, probably a few more miles on Luque, but yeah, very close in age.
Like I said, I think that also has to do with the fighting style, where it's like when you've been through a million wars because you just like to fight, those are going to be a lot harder on your body, where if you are getting finishes, you are being more precise, you're getting in and out of there quicker, you can take a lot. You're not fighting 15 minutes every single time.
Nah, and do you remember when this got like actually announced? Because from what I remember, it wasn't that short notice. Ponzinibbio got hurt pretty early on in the fight camp, I'm pretty sure. Like he pulled up quite early.
Yeah, I actually had no idea that it was short notice for.
I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure he had about a month at least. Like it wasn't like Gamrot took the fight like a week ago. Like it wasn't that short notice. I think he did have enough time to prepare, but we'll see. I like to give him the benefit of the doubt. New weight class, super tough veteran. I think you can match him up really nicely at welterweight too. You keep anybody you like away from Sean Brady for a while. You give him a guy like Buckley. That's an exciting fight.
Oh yeah.
Like I would love to see that. I think that do that next. Just do that next. Like why not?
No, I think that's the match to make. Like obviously Buckley's such a powerhouse. On the feet, that's just going to be a super interesting fight.
I know, I agree. I think that's a blast. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Buckley wrestles a lot. Alvarez historically has poor takedown defense. Looks a lot better against Luque this time, but Luque wasn't taking great shots, and Buckley's got an explosive double.
Yeah, and I guess we didn't see Alvarez much from the bottom in this fight, but I just was like, his jiu-jitsu looked good from the top. So that'd be my only reasoning why I wouldn't think Buckley would take him down as much. Because I don't think Buckley is as confident on the ground.
That may be the case, but he's also super hard to triangle and armbar because he has T-Rex arms and like no neck. So I feel like, and he's going to do some heavy damage if he's on top of you. Like there's just so much power behind this. So I guess my thought process is he's going to be super hard to guillotine on the way in because his double leg is so fast and explosive. He's like a spear almost. And then like he's going to be hard to sweep and like armbar triangle off his back, I would assume too, just because he's so wide. But, you know, he may, especially after getting outworked by Usman so handily, he might not be super confident in his ground game.
Yeah, I'm like, especially in that fight, I'm like, it just didn't look like he was very, like, well-versed down there. Like, he spends a lot of time doing grappling rounds and things like that. And maybe it is just off of his back, too. Like, sometimes it's amazing how many fighters can look good on top and then absolutely fall apart once they're on their back.
Well, and it almost looked more like he just decided not to try. Like he didn't want to expend too much energy early in the fight. Like this is what I saw was, okay, I got taken down by Usman. Let's not spend too much energy trying to get back to my feet because I have 4 more rounds to knock him out. And then all of a sudden it was like, okay, I've got 3 more rounds, 2 more rounds. Okay, I've only got 1 more round to knock him out. And then he had really good takedown defense, you know, like because he did defend takedowns really well in that 5th round. And it's like, I think he just waited too long to fight. Like he was tired. He was afraid of getting tired. Yeah.
Or sometimes like fighting Usman, that's a big opponent for him, you know, maybe a little bit of stage fright.
Got in his head a little bit. Yeah. We got to get through the rest of this card.
I was just going to say, going on to good grapplers, though, the next fight with Mario Pinto, the perfect game plan for any heavyweight, I really think, is just become a good grappler. Learn a little bit of jiu-jitsu. Surprised, congrats to him, but surprised to see he's only a brown belt. Like, for a heavyweight, was displaying a lot of good jiu-jitsu. This part was absolutely hilarious, his post-fight interview of him saying that he doesn't speak English. He's like, I'm going to try my English in his strong Portuguese accent, and then instantly goes to a London accent and speaks English better than me. But yeah, absolutely hilarious post-fight interview. Great performance, just dominant control on the top. I think the easiest like path to victory for any heavyweights, because most of these guys just don't know what they're doing.
No, I agree, and I think it's a cheat code at heavyweight, and it's also an issue of if a heavyweight gets on top of you, unless you have just crazy athleticism like Derek Lewis, it is so hard to get 250 pounds off of you. Like that sucks. You know,
I think Derek Lewis is able to get up so easily because these guys are so bad on the ground. So it's like, even though they have this much weight on top of them, they don't know how to put their pressure there in the correct ways. They don't know how to utilize this weight. So because they don't have the technique behind it, it is as easy as just get up. Where at the lower weight classes, you can't do that. You can't just get up because somebody's going to be advancing to the next thing, moving, like you're going to get your back taken. They're going to hop onto a submission. Something's going to happen where heavyweights just lack the technique so much. When you just get up, it kind of works.
Well, and you saw it when he fought Jalton Almeida. Like Almeida's like just overall control on top was just too good. And,
yeah.
And I think like you see that with guys like Pinto and honestly earlier on the card too, Vitor Petrino. I was really impressed with his grappling, even though that's not what ended the fight, because Thomas Peterson is a damn good wrestler, not just for heavyweight, like just overall. He's a good wrestler. And to see Petrino, even when he was exhausted, doing all the right things defensively, like you can tell he's a high level grappler too. And I think that, man, like you said, it's a cheat code at heavyweight.
Even the fight that we unfortunately lost this weekend, another high level grappler at heavyweight that I think is just like had like the easiest path. He's created the easiest path for himself. I don't want to say he's had an easy path, but just going in there and heel hooking people effortlessly. Usman didn't want to get heel hooked this weekend.
Usman had an anti-doping violation, is what happened, but
because he didn't want to get heel hooked this weekend. But that's a fight I was really looking forward to. Even like I sent you a video this morning outside the cage. He's absolutely hilarious. Walter Walker, I can't wait to see him perform next time. I think like you said, it's a cheat code at heavyweight. It was a shame that card was pulled.
I'm pretty bummed we didn't get to see it. I'm a fan of his. Like the video, like, oh, I gotta get my money, like selling myself to old ladies. Like, if you guys haven't seen his Instagram, just go check it out. But yeah, super funny, great character. This is what heavyweight needs. Like, I haven't been excited about heavyweight in years. I haven't been excited about heavyweight since USADA started. Let's be real. This is what we need at heavyweight. Not and just a couple weeks ago, I'm gonna butcher his name, Brando Purisic. Love him.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Fun.
Yeah, I won't be able to say the name, but I know who you're talking about.
These big athletic guys, like that's what we need at heavyweight. And unfortunately, most of them are playing in the NFL. The UFC needs to start recruiting like all the guys that like as soon as they retire after 3 seasons, which is normal for the NFL, and you'd be like, hey, we'll give you some money if you learn how to be MMA fighters. Give them a year of training. They'll be some of the best heavyweights in the world, I swear.
Just need some athleticism in there.
That's what we need. That's what we need. Dude, props to Con Ofley. I'm a big fan of his. Loved him on The Ultimate Fighter. Had 2 really, really tough fights in the UFC after losing the finale for The Ultimate Fighter. So I was just stoked to see him get a win. Somebody said something about Ramos looked like he had a broken hand.
Walking out. I saw it clipped on Instagram as well at weigh-ins when he was going to get onto the scale. People were, I don't know, a rumor was just going around that one of his hands looked swollen. So he holds up the other hand. I think he has like a rosary on it and it like does like number 1 or something like that. And the other hand he's like holding it down, but it's that hand that's the one that kind of looks like it's swollen or something. I honestly like props to Con Ofley, and I guarantee you he is not walking right this morning because he was like deep in that knee bar at first. Like a lot of heel hook attempts from Ramos there. Heel hook, knee bar, toe hold, everything. Leg lock attempts, just all over it. Just transition. But some of those knee bar attempts were like, I was like, oh, he's going to tap. He's going to tap. He's going to tap. I know he's feeling it today, but was able to work through it all and then like instantly took the back and it was quick work.
Yeah, super beautiful choke there. Like, and once it was in, like that's so a choke like that deep under the chin, like the defense is not getting in it. Like there's not really much you're doing at that point. I loved that fight. Like just the scrambles, the high level jiu-jitsu from both guys. Like that was really fun for me. I did not see his hand, Jake. So I saw like the weigh-in picture, but like didn't see the other hand. I will dig into it for you guys. We will have more information on Tuesday. Has he said anything? Like, has he made an excuse about it or like said it was broken? I haven't seen anything like that.
I haven't seen anything public about it. I've just seen like media, Instagram, they're like taking close-up shots of it, you know, like is it broken, things like that. I don't understand how you would get through like
medicals.
Your pre-fight medicals with it. Some of the comments were speculating because he's a Brazilian that he was able to make it work somehow and get through pre-fight medicals. Obviously, have no idea. I was just like in with all the Instagram rumors trying to figure it out myself.
I mean, there's no state commission except for Brazil that would have allowed a guy that missed by 8 pounds to still fight at his original agreed upon weight class and not a catch weight. So that being said, maybe there's that. Simon Oliveira, I think we can agree is probably done in the UFC. 0-4, huge weight miss. I think that ship has sailed. Good for Luan Lacerda for it, like just for taking that fight. He dogged
Even
through
just
it.
a nice
dealt
armbar.
with-
Like he tried the little flower sweep at first, wasn't able to get back to it, went straight back to the armbar. Like I hate to say this, but I'm like, I feel like usually girls got hips like that where he's able to get his. Usually you see arm bars. Girls are typically the ones doing arm bars from bottom, and he had hips like that where he was able to really get them out. So it was just nice technique. I feel like you don't see a lot of people who have good guards in general. That's my like. Obviously, you have headlining the event last night, Oliveira, but I'm like, there's very few people who really use a jiu-jitsu guard well, and I feel like he was able to do that, and yeah, it looks clean.
It did. No, it did. And I honestly, like, I just kind of assumed he wasn't going to get it because, like you said, like, that doesn't really happen in men's fights all that often to get an armbar like that. And so I kind of was like, oh, he's going for an armbar. And I think I like was finishing posting on the Facebook page from like for something. And I like looked up and I was like, oh, he got it. Like, oh, because yeah, it's very unusual to be able to transition like that as a guy. So he has some very bendy hips.
In that second fight of the night, I have to say, I'm like, every time she fights, I love Julia Pilastri. I'm like,
crazy. I love it.
Yeah, exactly. She's crazy. That's why I love her. She sits there and doesn't care, walks forward, is all offense the whole time. Obviously has power in her hands and kicks, was landing a lot of good body kicks, was able to really rock her at the end with a head kick. I'm like, she just looked like you said, she's crazy. She's a psycho. I love it. I absolutely love it about her.
No, I do. And man, the tough day for Carolina. She's a freaking dog. I saw one like betting line for her to get finished was obviously like huge odds because I think she's been finished by like Jessica Andrade. Like she's been knocked out by Jessica Andrade, and I think that's about it. Like she is historically one of the most durable fighters, and at almost 40 years old, kept walking forward, took a ton of damage from Pilastri. Pilastri just looked like she was in like a flow state, and the body work was beautiful. It really, like, you don't see that from a lot of female strikers.
And it's not like Carolina didn't have her moments as well. Pilastri just seems like she's possessed. She just walks forward. She doesn't like it. Doesn't it like even every time Carolina touched her, she just like literally wipes it off, walks forward, hands down. It like doesn't care at all. Wasn't respecting anything. Like even when she was you could see she was getting tagged hard. Wasn't respecting it. Just walking forward. Like it's a different mentality that girl has. But like great performance, great knockout for her.
No, huge win. Obviously, Carolina's a vet. Title challenger. That's a huge win for Pilastri, especially like I think she was fought really tough girls. Like she was 1-2 in the UFC before this, so now 2-2. But against like her losses were like Josephine Knudsen, who was like 7 or 8-0 at the time, and another really tough girl too. I don't recall. But
yeah, she lost to Loopy her last fight, and even in that she came back hard in the third round. Whereas like I was scared for Loopy in the third, where Pilastri was walking forward the whole time, like was getting really close to knockout. Loopy was gassed, circling the cage, like fighting for her life. I'm like, it was really that fight, honestly, where I became a fan. And now every time she fights, I'm just excited to watch.
No, she's must see TV, and you need that in the women's division. So I'm pumped to see her. Honestly, I don't want to talk on this too much because we only have like 15 minutes left, and we haven't even talked about Bia Mesquita yet, who is a problem. But this contender series, women's strawweight was just chef's kiss. Like there were some great female strawweight fights on contender series this year. So I'm just excited for your division over the next like 5 years. I think it's gonna be really, really fun.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be fun for me.
So it's like, I'm gonna smash everybody. Let's go. How do I say this nicely? I have never become a fan of a fighter and then stopped being a fan of a fighter so fast as I did with Stuart Nickel last night. I was just like in the early fight, I was like, I love this guy's wrestling. Like his wrestling is awesome. Like, cause I love that kind of just that really nice flowy transitional duck out the back, like just really beautiful chain wrestling for a whole round. And then it just disappeared after that first round. Like he didn't take a good shot after the start of round 2. And I'm not taking any flowers away from Rocha because Rocha fought a beautiful fight rounds 2 and 3. Like really like stayed sharp, kept his range. But I just, man, I was like, oh, I kind of like this mini Cub Swanson looking guy. And then I just didn't after that.
Yeah. I'm like, to his credit, he was still attempting those shots, you know? He was still constantly like trying to push the pace. He was just getting shut down. And such a frustrating fight to fight at that point, you know? So I'm like, he has a lot of heart. He was trying to fight, but I'm like, it wasn't, like I said, he was just getting shut down over and over and over again by Rocha, just using his clean Muay Thai, walking him down the whole time and just defending the shots. And it was kind of a clinic for Rocha last night. It was an don't want to say easy fight for him, but it couldn't have gone better.
And it just like, to see Nickel not make any adjustments, like at least set the shot up a little bit better especially after he had so much success in the first round. Like it was almost like he didn't get that first, because it was a beautiful, like a beautiful ride. He didn't like fully get Rocha down and like control him a bunch, but he had a beautiful ride and scramble that I thought he won that exchange and looked really good in it in round 1, and it made the round close. And then it was like, as soon as he didn't get like a really solid takedown, it's just like, it kind of went out the window for him. So I was kind of bummed to see that, because you saw the glimpses of like really great wrestling in that first round. But I mean, credit to Rocha. Like I said, he fought a beautiful fight. It's been 47 minutes. We have not talked about the Lady Goat, Bia Mesquita. I mean, you can't have a much better debut than that. That was dominant.
Yeah, I think Alexiva is kind of like an ideal opponent for Mesquita going into this matchup. Was able to just shoot in both rounds, first and second round, shoot into the body lock pretty effortlessly, get her takedown, and then work straight to mount. And Alexiva kind of looked lost on the ground. Mesquita was just able to work her game and almost get the finish at the end of the first, and then obviously be able to find the choke at the end or like the middle of the second, I'd say.
Yeah, and yes, great stylistic matchup for her here. And I honestly, like, I've always known Bia's jiu-jitsu was super elite. Like it is absolutely elite. I saw like an article that some jiu-jitsu media outlet put out. You know how there's like a scoring system for like how many medals you get in like IBJJF and ADCC, and like you get like a certain amount of points.
I have no idea, but
so that's a thing apparently. Yeah. I don't know what the scoring system is for it. They have like a criteria for like IBJJF and ADCC. You get like because those are the biggest ones. You get like the most amount of points for like gold, silver, bronze, and then like smaller tournaments, you get slightly less points. She has more than like any other jiu-jitsu practitioner, male or female, by like 50 points. Like that girl has won like 10 in a row world titles in jiu-jitsu. And you can see it. Like even good, really good jiu-jitsu, like mount is not a position that a lot of people get and then control in super, super well. I think it's a very difficult position to like really settle in MMA, at least at the high level. You definitely see it on regional shows a lot, but so I think her control there is pretty, it's pretty insane. Her striking is still green, obviously, like I think she has 6 professional fights. So she's got a lot of room to grow on the feet and stuff, but man, if she gets her hands connected, like she's going to be a problem at 135. I think you brought it up with heavyweight. Sorry, this is a very long-winded point that I'm trying to make here, apparently. I think at 135, grappling, like good grappling really sets you apart, just like it does at heavyweight.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, especially like you look at a girl like Alexiva, like I said, she looked kind of lost on the ground. That's not uncommon in that division, I guess. You know, there's not a lot of 135-pound girls that we look at and we're like, oh, she's a very good grappler. She's elite on the ground. You know, like you said, like same with heavyweight. We don't really see that. I don't think, honestly, there's not a lot of elite 135ers as a total right now. Just
and a pretty decent gap right now.
Yeah, we got like Amanda, Kayla, Eileen's up there. Who fought last weekend? Yana. Yana
Yeah.
put on a good performance too. I'm like, they have a couple girls that are coming out now that I'm like, there's a little bit more, I guess, like interest in the 135-pound division, and I think Bia is the perfect one to add to that.
Yeah. No, and I think she's very marketable for the UFC. Like, she's gonna finish girls. She's pretty. She's got a good personality. She's freaking looks like a just tank. She's super jacked. I'm very jealous of her muscles. But a Dumont, honestly, I forget about her all the time. I feel like she never fights, but she's pretty good.
I feel like she's had a fight coming up forever. Maybe like she pulled out or something like that. I don't know. I'm gonna look right now, but I feel like
it's her fault. If I
feel like for a long time now, I've been like, oh, she has a fight coming up. Yeah, she was supposed to fight Raquel Pennington September 13th, and now she's fighting Caitlin Vieira November 1st.
Okay, yeah. If I remember right, it wasn't her fault. It's just she just hasn't had a fight. But she's solid too. We just never see her. So it's like she's like the Arnold Allen of that division. We just forget about her all the time. Okay, I'm going to make like 3 quick points on these last 3 fights. So we actually might get through the entire card for once. Vitor Petrino is my new favorite heavyweight. He is what heavyweight should be. Then like he won the first round, lost the second round, was dead exhausted, good pace fight, lots of high-level grappling, and then just the knockout, the uppercut hook, like literally pushed his face into the hook. Like it was just nasty.
Oh yeah, it was a classic heavyweight knockout, you know? Like when you think of like the Francis Ngannou and Alistair Overeem with the chin straight up in the air. It was something like that where it was just one of those brutal, like just vicious to watch knockouts. Peterson face planted instantly in the middle of the octagon. Obviously in Brazil must be great for Petrino just to have a moment like that.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I feel like he's just a problem. Like he's very well-rounded. I do kind of question his decision to try to offensively wrestle Thomas Peterson so much. I think that's what made him tired, because Peterson is like the only heavyweight with really good wrestling. I felt like he expended more energy than he needed to trying to fight him like that. But it didn't matter at the end. He managed to find the combo. And Peterson's tough. Like he's got a good chin. He can wrestle. He's got good cardio. That's a great win for Petrino, especially like you said in Brazil. Like the Brazilians swept the prelims and then didn't start off so hot on the main card. But obviously,
but the last fight of the prelims, they didn't look so hot either. Lucas Almeida versus Michael Aswell. Aswell,
yes,
was coming out just throwing 1-2, 1-2, 1-2 straight down the pipe and was landing every single shot. And then finally he comes like with a little short hook and is able to get the knockout. But that was Aswell's fight from start to finish for as long as it did last. The quick first round KO.
I got a bunch of hate from Dave and Grant for saying my prospect to watch on this card was Michael Aswell. But their prospect didn't even get to fight. So that's all I'm saying. But no, I really like Aswell. I think he's super fun. I think he belongs at featherweight. I think people are judging him off a 3-day notice debut in France against a lightweight. And they shouldn't be, because he's a super talented kid. Also, I'm pretty sure that was the same ref that ref the Luque fight, because he was like, I am not going to stop this fight if a Brazilian is losing. And he let Lucas Almeida almost die in the cage, because that was quite a finish from Aswell. And then Aswell gets on the mic after and announces his teammate's fight for the UFC, so we haven't even talked about this yet. It's been almost an hour. Joshua Van and Pantoja is official December 6th. That is going to be on that UFC 323. So, I mean, we all kind of knew they wanted to fight in December, and we figured it was happening, but now it's been confirmed. So,
no, I know that's a big matchup, and obviously, like, I would never count out Pantoja, but I am such team Joshua Van on this. I want to see this kid succeed. I feel like, I don't know, he has a lot of potential in his skill set and in his mindset. Yes. I feel like he just really believes in himself. Yeah, and I think that I think he's going to give Pantoja a tougher fight than we expect. I'm hoping for the win. I'm sitting here, fingers crossed that he comes out with the win. But yeah, Pantoja's definitely a tough one for him.
He is. I think Pantoja's just too complete, and he's just his chin, man. Like
he's just a dog too. They're both like, yeah, both of them have that fight in them, that dog in them. But Pantoja's just a vet at it, which brings so many different elements where like Van's got it in him, but he hasn't been tested the ways that Pantoja has.
Not yet. And I think like I'm with you. I want Van to succeed. I don't want him to beat Pantoja, but I truly do believe Van is championship material. It's probably not going to be just yet. Maybe. I could be wrong. I'm rooting for my boy Pantoja, but I'm a huge Joshua Van fan, and there's not a doubt in my mind that kid is going to have a UFC belt at some point in his career. Like the fight IQ and the mentality that he has at such a young age is really unbelievable to me.
And throwing it to the flyweights on the card last night, the last fight we haven't talked about is Rafael Filho. That Kimura from, I don't think I've ever seen somebody get a Kimura from like, he was bottom half guard, was able to use it to sweep, get on top, and then look disgusting. Like his arm was touching his shoulder blade. It was terrible. I was like saying, please tap, please tap, please tap.
I thought it was going to tear.
It was absolutely disgusting. But like, I think it also might just be because it's this Brazilian card that we went to. I feel like we saw a lot of good guard work, a lot of good jiu-jitsu guard work, where I'm like, we haven't really seen that in a long time. And like I brought it up earlier with Oliveira, and there's one more fight we were talking about earlier where it was just it was the first fight of the night. Just good guards, good attacks from guard, and I'm like, it's almost like we're bringing it back to jiu-jitsu, you know, like this is where it all started, was the Brazilian jiu-jitsu from Brazil, and you got to see a good aspect of it last night.
I love this. Apparently Terry did not like the card. I'm sorry, Terry. We are not on board with you here. We loved it, but we're both grappling fans. So I'm with you. I thought it was really cool. And Clayton Carpenter's grappling is world class. Like he is legit grappling, and the scramble that they were in, like I felt like Clayton Carpenter was looking really good until he kind of got slipped into the, like, because Filho, I don't know how to say his name. Jafel, we'll call him Jafel. He is really exciting, but he gets reversed a lot. Mm-hmm. So his last fight, he fought Nascimento. And it was like, he would like get on top, get the back, get reversed. Get on top, get the back, get reversed. And I was just like, what are you doing? But it was a really fun fight. So I had very few complaints. And here it just kind of paid off for him. Like he was willing to like really go for the finish, and got the back, got kind of close, got reversed, you know, but he was able to keep just working and getting to that Kimura position. Also, speaking of shoulders looking like they're going to tear, the heavyweights, oh my gosh, Janice's shoulder in that first round it was like an Americana position, and like heavyweights are not known for their flexibility. I was like, oh, his shoulder is just gonna snap. Like,
I'm like, it's funny for me. I'm like, I have no problem doing it. Seeing it or thinking about it gives me the chills every single time. I absolutely hate, like, I don't know, just watching things like that. But like we were saying with Filho, I feel like he's just all offense, which like when you're all offense, it makes it so you're leaving yourself very defensively not available, you know, out of position all the time, really. But it makes for an exciting fight every single time. So he's going out there and he's attacking and attacking and attacking. And it doesn't matter what position he's in, or if he puts himself in a bad position doing it, he's just going to continue to attack and try to finish the fight in every way possible.
No, 100%. And that's why I'm a fan. Like,
yeah, exactly.
We'll probably lose him a handful of fights like it did against Nascimento, but I wanna tune in to watch this kid. I do.
No, like I said, it makes for an exciting fight every single time.
Man, we did the whole card.
We're almost like right on the dot too of hitting that hour. Look,
I'm so proud of us. We did okay, and we let it get a little away from us for the first half hour, but Jake, we will talk about this on Tuesday because I need to go to church and be with Jesus. But we will talk about it on Tuesday. For those who don't know, my fight has been announced officially for December 5th. Let's go. We're back. I'm super pumped. We get to share a fight weekend.
Yeah, December's our month.
Let's do it. Heck yeah. Okay, we love you guys. G, do you have anything for the people?
Nope. I think we got it.
I think we covered everything. Bring your questions on Tuesday. Hoping to have some guests for you guys. Maybe a few from UFC Rio. I have reached out to a few people. You'll see it announced. Last thing. Finally, after like 2 years of them calling out each other, Chris Duncan and Terrence McKinney are finally fighting in December. I am so pumped for this fight, guys. So pumped. We obviously love Chris Duncan. He's a very good friend. We have a great relationship with Terrence McKinney here at Fight Bananas. This is just a great fight, guys. It's going to be a banger. That's all I have. I love you guys. Come watch Tuesday, 1 to 3 p.m. Go enjoy your Sunday. Bye.